Hey Queens, welcome back to Mila's Best Life Lately and the Desktop Vanity podcast. This might be a YouTube exclusive podcast. It's a little bit undone. Today, let's get cozy and do a vanity chat on the top cautionary beauty trends to look out for in 2026, coming from my research as a beauty journalist. Yes, and BT Dubs, I have a Substack called the Desktop Vanity where I do beauty journalism and I talk about pop culture commentary. Are you subscribed? Be a free sub. Get the vibes. And if you want to help me buy a cup of coffee, there's other cool benefits as well. So feel free to also look into the paid tiers. Now let's get into it. Do you love this angle? Are you not entertained? Am I not just so iconically a genius? Like, look. All right. Our face is bare. So I'm thinking about doing skincare or some makeup. I did party last night, low-key. My first time ever getting invited to like a proper party, which is a big deal. So that was like really, really exciting. It was Bollywood themed, so they only play Bollywood music, but it was actually really good. So I'm very, very, very stoked for that. I think, and honestly, I've been feeling like a little bit depressed lately. So I realized I was struggling to write my one-act play. I was struggling to write anything and to do schoolwork. And I knew I had a hankering to basically write and produce another podcast episode or two or a video essay. And I know that if I just get that out the window, I'd feel so good about myself that it would just be iconic behavior, and next thing you know, I'll get it out of the way. It's like I had an inkling. I'm like, if I get this done, then I know I can get everything else done. Let's go ahead and get into my list of cautionary beauty industry trends for 2026. Now, why is it called cautionary? Because some of them I would consider problematic. Not all of them are problematic. Some of them I'm actually genuinely excited for, but I do think some of them are problematic, and I think this is a good opportunity to do some commentary as someone who has worked at Ulta before, still does, and is an independent beauty journalist, which on the side can be a little hard to do sometimes. Let me do something that is sacrilege, and I think I'm going to use a little bit of a Neutrogena makeup wipe. Oh, she's kind of dry. Is she meant to be dry? She's really dried. Do these expire? A little bit of the Inkless facial mist as a way to like kind of hydrate and tone. And I'll probably do a little bit of a milky toner and an eye mask. I'm using the Good Molecules caffeine under eye patches, which will be so fetch. And stop with the dilly-dallying. I'm so sorry. Who knows what amount I've cut? Let's just go ahead and get like straight into it. So number one is actually going to be scandalous-based marketing. Yes, the scandalification of marketing. Two core examples is remember when Charlotte Tilbury came out with that giant PR package of all those lipsticks and none of them were in there. They were all empty. So they decided to do a Nancy Drew style kind of series on their socials.
I'm Charlotte Tilbury. Why on earth would I steal my own lipsticks? I know nothing about Hollywood heist.
It's like I knew it, but it's still the sadness. Sweet please. My only question to Charlotte is, was this planned? Because the way she dealt with the whole situation, it's a 10 out of 10 thing. Because nobody knows if this is planned.
Darlings, you caught me pink and red-handed. Of course it was me who stole the lipsticks. Nobody else can steal my beauty DNA. They can try, but they cannot deny. Darling, let me tell you a beauty secret.
Only to kind of unceremoniously reveal that it potentially could have been a pure PR stunt. Now, it could have been that they were just making the most out of a tragedy and then turning it into a PR stunt. I feel like that kind of disappointed me a little. Not a big deal in the end, but I do notice a trend where we're seeing brands basically scandalify their marketing tactics. Another more gentle example of that is Nikki Tutorials. She's an OG YouTuber. She also has a makeup line called Nivea. That's really good. Her setting spray, when it first launched, was coming out like a hose. According to her and also her consumers, and I quote, they were auditioning for The Little Mermaid, which is a comment that was left on some of their vids. So she made a apology video that ended with her revealing that she did fix it, but did everyone get their refunds? Not really. The controversy then ended. So we're seeing a scandalification of marketing in the beauty industry, in the beauty space. We also see it with beauty influencers, or even better yet, beauty brands doing fake apologies at the end of the year as their wrap up, being like, I'm so sorry for everything we did, but we hydrated everyone's skin this season, and we know that that causes an issue. And I'd have to wonder at the same time, is that, in your opinion, in poor taste to when real actual instances of scandals happen in the beauty space? I'd love your opinion on that. Do I think it's in poor taste? Sometimes. I do think I like it when it's really lighthearted in nature, especially when it's obvious that they're fixing an obvious mistake that happens. But if it's completely staged, it just feels like you're wasting everyone's time. So if it was like the plan from the beginning, then I feel like I'd have a small issue with it. First, it is long-form beauty content. I think it is on the rise. Now, are beauty tutorials coming back like they were in 2016 and 2010s in general? I don't think so. I would love that, though. I do think skincare tutorials will come in. I do think, like, more skincare and, like, fragrance education is coming in. So it's all about what's in my bag, my top empties for the year, my recommendations, and of course it's all going to be affiliate link rich. That beauty tutorials weren't really as affiliate link like rich as they were before. I think the only way beauty tutorials are making their way back is that if it's a tutorial for something super specific, like you are basically educating on a certain pain point people have with their makeup, rather than doing a full-on eyeshadow look in general. So I think we already see very specific content creators like what I'm going to put up on the screen that have been doing a really fabulous job at nitpicking at that pain point, and that's causing them to go viral on top. Next, I think people already know this, and it's been categorized in society in the beauty space as a recession indicator. And that is all of the heavy amounts of food motifs that are coming into imagery and marketing in the beauty space. Even vegetables, even bread, even just butter that has like a stamped Cartier on it. It's like all over the place. And it makes me think that it was a recession indicator, and it still is, because people can't afford fresh artisanal bread or butter or fresh vegetables. I would honestly say that it's more than that, because diet culture is coming back, and we're seeing skinny culture coming back. We are now basically reverting back from the original body positivity we saw in the 2010s, which is not a vibe. But then it shows that it was never really about social change. It was really just a trend. Because, you know, as someone who struggled with their weight before, it bothers me. But then when we see all these food motifs in beauty, it's like we can have it everywhere else in our body, just not in our body. Feeling it's a form of like vengeance for diet culture, as we are basically subsequented into eating less and everything like that. There's also this amazing Substack article that, if I can find it, I'll also link it down below or paste it up here, about diet culture and in relation to food motifs in the beauty industry as a whole. So that's also where I get some of my context from this as well. Next, for hair care. Elven braids. Yes, I feel like it sometimes teeters on cultural appropriation, especially when we have semi-permanent braids or unusual braided hair somewhere in the back of your hair. So therefore, when you're like out at a fancy dinner, you'll always have a braid hidden somewhere. But I like to think it more, in this case, as elven braids that we had a lot in 2020, where people would specifically like put like two braids in the back of their hair, so therefore when they had their hair up, they would show. So it was giving very Viking, very elven, but also very surreal and very cool girl at the same time. So it didn't feel too much like cosplaying. So I think we're gonna see that coming in. Same thing with tinsel in the hair, which we're already starting to see happening casually. That and hair scarves and more unusual like avant-garde hair clips, and so forth. Let's go ahead and speed up and talk about certain beauty products and certain skincare ingredients that are trending in those formulations. Number one, trending ingredients that we find in formulations are tremella, which is a type of mushroom that can hold its weight in water up to 10 times. So imagine if that was formulated in a microemulsion and it was made into nanoparticles with a ton of other humectants and other skin activating agents like AHAs that could help soften the skin a little, and having those go a little deeper into the skin, it will make our skin really plump and hydrated. Ordinary to the Inculus to Dermalogica to Peach and Lily. Also, alizac acid is entering the villa and it's kicking out niacinamide. We're starting to see a trend where more young people are sensitive to niacinamide. I think it's because since niacinamide has been in everything for so long, we've developed a tolerance to it, and it's no longer really as helpful as it used to be. It's not a jack of all trades, master of none. In fact, in order for it to be anti-inflammatory, like people say it is, you have to have already been using it for a hot minute. And if you're sensitive to it, that's just not fun. Alizac acid is the new girl in town. And the best part about her is that she has a cooling effect. And on top of that, she's hydrating right off the gate. She'll help with redness, irritation. She's anti-inflammatory in nature. She'll also help with dark spots and pigmentation on top. And help with scar prevention as well. Of honey substitutes. So honey vegan substitute humectants. So anything that's like a sugary syrup in itself is a humectant. Think agave is a really good humectant. I remember my esthetician friend was like, what? And I was like, yeah, it's a humectant, which is really cool. And humectants just mean it's a hydrating agent that attracts water in and out of the skin and puts it and makes it stick in the skin to some capacity, although you should have moisturizing properties to help it stick in back. So fragrance brands, especially indie brands, are really betting on something very specific for their marketing in order to survive in this target market. And that is actually collectability is what they're betting on to survive. Sniff does that. Zoologist, I think, is another brand that does that. I'm now going to take a little bit of my Bioma Milky Toner just to hydrate my skin a little before my SPF, because then me and my mom are going to go to Ralph's and then get Thai food. Ooh, I might actually want to get Fish District. I'm in the mood for a poke bowl. I need something lightweight but protein rich. Next is actually going to be cool girl makeup. And I know what you're thinking. Cool girl makeup is cringe. It is not cringe at all. It is basically nonchalant makeup, but nonchalant in itself is heavily performative. So in my opinion, anytime something is nonchalant, it really isn't nonchalant in nature, but really simple, healthy skin base, and then a statement eye or a statement lip. Like ChatGPT, I don't like it a lot. I do use it. I have a love-hate relationship with it because we're already seeing failed attempts where I think a brand tried to have a fragrance influencer for a bit that was AI. That did not go well. They didn't even make their first post before deleting that account on Instagram. But in actuality, I feel like it's really difficult, but I do think AI is going to become a new business partner, and we're already seeing brands that are admitting to using AI as a way to make their ecosystem of formulas. So as the weather changes and based off of reviews, AI will start changing the formula of their said products bit by bit to actually mimic their target audience, and it will then change back or revert back based off of the season. I think it will lack its own context that it needs to formulate. I think it's a good starting tool for some people, but I don't think it should be your business partner. Does that make sense? Gourmand fragrances are reigning supreme, and they always have been. But we are starting to get a little bit fatigued, I've noticed. A lot of people are like not wanting to smell vanilla fragrances. And I'm like, vanilla's in everything. Even in men's cologne, it's just called something else. It's called something more masculine. But really, in actuality, vanilla gourmand, it's a little bit in everything, but people are getting fatigued and now they want more complex gourmand that doesn't automatically make you smell like a sugar cookie. Instead, people want things with notes of tea or grass or things that are more abstract in nature. Of Noises 12 o'clock or 1200, which is meant to smell like afternoon tea, which is has a little bit of vanilla and is really nice. People don't really want to smell like a sugar cookie anymore. We want more complex fragrances that are still gourmand, but not like gourmand to the max. You know what I mean? We actually have very pigmented, fun color blushes coming up soon. Green, blue, purple, red, orange, yellow. And in the end, they're actually flattering on everyone. If you just use a little drop, not a lot, and you can potentially make it look really alternative, or you can make it look really good. I've worn purple, like light lavender purple blush before, and it looks fabulous on me. It just looks like I'm super, super pale, like icy, but like really soft and like flirty. I feel like really pigmented blushes, especially red blush, is gonna be a big thing because they will look good on everyone. They're very versatile and moderately universal because we are made up of so many pigments. Getting towards the end of my list, which is exciting because I want to take another sip of my tea. I gotta use the loo and I'm really hungry. I thought having Denny's at 3 a.m. after New Year's will be enough. It is not. Remember the whole skincare for toddlers thing? Let's go ahead and just hold a little bit of space, you and me, for that. And we're going to hold a little bit of space just to give us some inner peace because it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going a little strong. And I don't know what parents would be okay with doing it because kids just want to emulate their parents. Toddlers do not need skincare. They don't have adverse skincare conditions yet. One very imperative, important thing, though, is I feel like if it was advertised more as like a sensory, like toy play makeup that you can happen to put on your skin, but it was advertised more as like a toy that's sensory and also skincare friendly and has skincare products in it, I feel like that would have had an easier time being more accepted. And I think that would have been a good marketing strategy overall. But I don't know a lot of toddlers in general, but the toddlers I know in my family would not want to have a sheet mask on their face for a period of time. They want to take it off probably within 30 seconds. You know what I mean? So I do think that there are some product development concepts that I think just need to be thought out a little. I have tooth gems and gauges that are used to stack more jewelry. Like maximalist jewelry is going to be a huge thing. And if I wasn't self-conscious about my teeth, I totally would get a tooth gem. It sounds like so much fun. And last but not least, for the fashion, it is wearing your PJs outside and dressing them up and styling them like clothes. And sometimes wearing your underwear outside. And having your like bra be visible underneath your shirt, but in like a chic kind of like editorial way, not like in a wet t-shirt kind of contest kind of way, although there's already shirts that mimic that. I love that. I wish I could get away with that, but I think only a celebrity can really pull it off because then no one will scrutinize them. Well, that's not possible. Love your opinion on how glowy my skin looks right now. You cannot see my acne. It's just a little bit. I wore really heavy makeup last night. Like I was in full glam. If you want a picture, here's the picture. And I just want to let you know, thank you so much for being here for this wind down experimental episode of Mila's Best Life Lately and the Desktop Vanity. If you really enjoyed these trend predictions for 2026 and you want more beauty content, do check out my Substack, The Desktop Vanity, where I talk about beauty journalism and feminist media studies, pop culture commentary. And if you want to vibe more, check out my most recent video essays. I'm very proud of them. I'm getting good. It's super stoked. I'm super excited, guys. Happy New Year, you guys. And keep in mind, some of these were actually really good, but some of them are cautionary trend predictions, something that we need to be aware of and look out for because they kind of rub me the wrong way, but they also could potentially have a negative consequence, but not all of them. Anyway, this is the Desktop Vanity brought to you by Mila's Best Life Lately. Desktop Vanity is a Substack adjacent podcast and video essay series, and I hope you have the most magical season of your life. And feel free to follow Mila's Best Life Lately, where I'll talk more about goodie content like this. Bye-bye, my sweets. Kiss, kiss. Fall in love with yourself every single day, because it's a choice that you should make. Bye-bye.